Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the March 29th, 2018 edition of The Breast There Is, The Breast There Was, and The Breast There Ever Will Be Wrestling Podcast. As always, I am your host, Mikey B, WWE, and I'm here to bring you all the latest developments and important news in the WWE from this past week. I should begin by saying that this will be a bit of a brief edition, mainly because in the weeks leading up to the biggest event of the year, WrestleMania, a lot of times the company, they've already sort of etched in stone what WrestleMania is going to look like, and there's not a lot of interesting developments on the weekly television shows, Raw and SmackDown, mainly because they don't want anyone on any key superstars on the roster to get injured, fall victim to some injury, some fluke injury, just before the biggest event of the year. So not the most exciting time in the week or two or three before WrestleMania. But having said that, there were still a few developments pertaining to, the granddaddy of them all, WrestleMania. So I'll begin with the few developments that occurred on Monday Night Raw just a few days ago on the 26th of March. One observation I've made since they introduced this less than a month ago, in a year with many firsts for the women's division and in the women's revolution, so many different things going on and so many new styles of matches that women for the first time ever are being allowed to participate in, which is amazing. They made the announcement about a month ago that WrestleMania will have the first ever women's battle royal. And they made a big fuss about how, much like the men's battle royal at WrestleMania the last several years, has been called the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, paying homage to the late great Andre the Giant. They made a big fuss about how the women's battle royal that they just introduced for this year's WrestleMania is to be named the Fabulous Moolah Memorial Battle Royal. Since then, I've noticed in subsequent weeks on Monday Night Raw, they have totally dropped the Fabulous Moolah name association with it. So it makes me wonder if there was something going on. There was some issue with her allowing her name to be, her likeness to be associated with the Battle Royal, which to me would be surprising because, much like the Andre the Giant one, it's probably going to remain for a long time. But I have noticed, nevertheless, that her name is no longer being mentioned with that women's battle royal. They just keep calling it the first ever women's battle royal now. So that was something worth noting. As well, much like I figured, John Cena once again called out The Undertaker at the end of Monday Night Raw this week, and we still have no answer from Undertaker yet. So sounds like they're dragging it out to the final week before WrestleMania next week. So I think you can bet 100% that we will get some sort of response from Undertaker on Monday Night Raw. So yeah, so that's they've been dragging that one out a bit slowly, but again, they had to try and create some sort of way to make a realistic feud between these two legendary superstars. So that's really about it for Monday Night Raw. There was really not much else worth noting whatsoever. There was one matchup that was announced actually on Monday Night Raw. It was Cedric Alexander will face Mustafa Ali for the WWE Cruiserweight Championship. This division has really fallen off since the whole Enzo Amore scandal and firing. And I've noticed that since that incident occurred, the Cruiserweight division is very seldomly even shown on Monday Night Raw anymore. So it makes you wonder if they're slowly phasing that whole division out. We'll have to wait and see. But regardless, this is a match that's destined for the pre-show anyway, so that's why I was not even thinking that it was worth mentioning. But regardless, they did make that announcement on Monday Night Raw that will be at WrestleMania, but I'm quite sure it'll be on the pre-show card, which I'm not so interested in, considering that the main card is going to be about 5 hours long. Moving over to SmackDown Live the following night on the 27th of March, had a few more WrestleMania announcements on this program. We learned from Daniel Bryan after he made his historic announcement last week that he is returning to the ring after 3 years away. that he will be competing in a tag team match at WrestleMania. It will be him and Shane McMahon as tag team partners going up against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. This was something else I sort of anticipated. I mentioned on my last podcast that I figured it was either going to be a tag team match like this, or it was going to be the three actual regular roster wrestlers, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Daniel Bryan, and maybe Shane McMahon would be special guest referee. But he's involved in the match, so there you have it. But Daniel Bryan did also include some special stipulations for this match. The first being that if Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon win, then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they stay fired. But if Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon lose, then Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are therefore reinstated onto SmackDown Live. So yeah, so a bit of an interesting twist on that one. So yeah, I mean, it's not the most unpredictable match of them all, just because, I mean, there's no chance that the WWE is actually getting rid of two of the best superstars that they have in the company. And Daniel Bryan's been saying, he said it on Tuesday night, and he's been saying it a lot lately, that these are two of the guys he actually believes in that are two of the best of their generation. So, and that is pretty obvious to anyone who watches them perform in the ring. They are two of the best wrestlers. So I wouldn't be, if you're a big fan of either of those guys, I wouldn't be too worried that they're going to be out of the company for very long. WWE, of course, can manipulate the storyline and fire people or rehire people as much as they want, because none of it's actually legitimate. So, but anyways, that is, we do now know where Daniel Bryan's matchup will be like at WrestleMania. So that was one of the first big announcements on SmackDown. We also learned that the United States title match, when I thought that Triple Threat was as many, that would be the most people, participants involved in the match, they have expanded it even more and added a fourth member, making it a fatal four-way match now for the United States title match, featuring champion Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, Bobby Roode, and Rusev is going to be joining that match, which he certainly deserves. He's certainly in recent months gone over big time with the crowd as a big fan favorite. So for him not to be included in a match at WrestleMania, I think would have been a bit unfair. So that makes sense, and I'm totally okay with that. But again, I'm one thing I'm not as okay with is just the amount of matches where there's triple threats, fatal four-way, so many people involved. It just clutters up the matches, and it's not as good wrestling when you have those kind of matches as opposed to a one team against one team or one participant against one participant style of match. So regardless, that's what we got to live with. And beyond that, something else which I've been anticipating really since for well over a month, the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match was also announced for WrestleMania. And this one, as I expected, is a triple threat match with the Usos, the champion Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers. The three teams will be participating in that one. Not a big surprise there, because this is what they've been building towards for easily over a month, maybe two. So, folks, that pretty much covers it. Like I said, not too much excitement this week in the world of the WWE. Just a lot of build-up before the biggest event of the year. So we can expect a bit more of the same next week. We're going to see a lot of interviews, a lot of promos people are cutting, just talking about their opponent and how they're going to beat them at WrestleMania. The big news, hopefully, we will get next week, which I'm expecting, is we will hear from The Undertaker once and for all, confirming his match with John Cena. So I'm sure the WWE has been saving that as their final match to add to the card. So, and it's working out for them. So that's it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel if you liked what you heard, and feel free to leave any questions or comments below. And lastly, anybody who is celebrating Easter this weekend, I wish you a happy Easter. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.